Mercury retrograde updates? Yes, please. As we all know, it is Mercury retrograde again, and we are not that far into the retrograde, and already we're going to start to see some aspects repeat. And I say repeat because Mercury on October 1st is going to come into that exact square with Pluto again. Now, I put the quotations because Mercury has been maintaining the same square with Pluto that it's stationed retrograde in a square to on September 27th. The other exact square from Mercury to Pluto was on the 22nd of September. So Mercury is kind of stationed in this square to Pluto, maintaining that deep investigative intensity that Mercury square Pluto has. Now, this is going to get wrapped right on into the Mercury retrograde story. And I did a couple deep dive videos onto this, but I also just want to add for the second time around that there's another layer here. It's like Mercury entered the underworld with Pluto, and then it was like, I forgot something, or it doesn't feel like I quite have all the answers. Have you ever had that feeling where you go to the grocery store and you're like, okay, I know I'm forgetting something. I know I'm forgetting something. Or like if you're doing any kind of research or writing work like me, where it's like, yeah, I'm not quite done yet. There's still something I can dig a little bit deeper to find. That is what this aspect may feel like for us here on October 1st, when Mercury returns into that exact square with Pluto. Meanwhile, we've maintained this square with Pluto. So go back and watch that original video for more details. But basically what Mercury in a square to Pluto can do is it makes us really want to find out the answers. It can reveal skeletons that have been buried for many, many years. It can bring stuff up that's been buried for us. Secrets can be revealed. Truths are coming out. And there is just like, there can be this obsessive need for us to find out, for us to go a little bit deeper. This can be really powerful for healing. This can be really powerful for getting stuff out of the way in our relationships. This is going to be a theme that we see this week as I do this batch of videos that I'm doing here. We're going to be seeing a theme this week where we're able to kind of clear the air in some of our relationships in order to have the kind of peace and things like that that we really crave on the outside, Libra, which can be very surface level. Sometimes we got to go to that deep, that cavernous layer in order to do the proper kinds of excavation in order for that beauty and that harmony to be sustainable. I'm watching them redo a house to me next door, and I'm seeing them cover up these rotted planks on the side of the house, and I'm like, yeah, like that's so Libra, just to like put the veneer over it. But here we got this Pluto where it's like, if we're really tapping into that Pluto, we want to replace those boards on the side of the house so that we don't have disintegration or things like mold or things like that later on. So that's really what Mercury square Pluto is trying to do for us right now, is to get to the root of the rot so that we can clear that stuff out, so that we can actually have that sense of internal balance, so we can have that sense of internal harmony. You know, things might look pretty on the outside, but what's really going on the inside is what Mercury square Pluto wants to do. And it's worth it. It's going to be worth it because we also have this lovely trine from Mercury to Jupiter. And that aspect was last exact on the 20th. So if you want to go back and get some more juicy tidbits on that, I have a whole video on that trine. It's amazing. I love these air trines right now. And but here on the 3rd, on October 3rd, we have Mercury returning into that trine, that exact trine with Jupiter. It's kind of been maintained a little bit, but we're going to be moving into that exact trine with Jupiter again. So it's almost like the anesthetic of tears, you know, because we're doing shadow work with Mercury square Pluto. We're going backwards, we're going inwards. We're doing the forensic research and the archaeological digging. We're going deep. And it can be painful to do that. It can be painful to see the things that we don't want to see, or hear the things that we weren't quite ready to hear or learn. But there is like an anesthetic that Jupiter can provide, a little bit of lift. It's like a reward. It's like going to the doctor and getting the shot if you're a child, and then they give you a sticker or a lollipop afterwards, or it's like tears when we literally cry, when we have that release, when we have that emotional release. there's actually like this hormone that is released in our tears that really helps us to alleviate pain and helps us to feel better. And this is so cool because this is only happening in the tears where we're actually feeling emotional. That doesn't happen when you get like dust in your eye and or cut an onion. It's completely different tears. So it's really cool that that can happen. So I think that this trine to Jupiter here is like, all right, well, here's the positive. Here's here's what we can do with that. And doesn't it feel good to get that out in the open? So this is the second time that we're getting these aspects. In early November, Mercury will station direct on October 18th, the same day as Jupiter. So that's another cool thing, which we'll revisit next go around, or in a couple weeks here, we can revisit that. But yeah, so that'll be pretty cool that Mercury and Jupiter are ready to move forward at the same time on October 18th. So there's something here with the trine, something really supportive around gathering information, because yeah, this could be Mercury's trine to Jupiter can be like positive reinforcement, but it's also curious. Both of these planets deal with learning and finding things out and contextualizing the information into the broader scope of meaning. So there's something that we're contextualizing and putting it all together right now. And yeah, so in early November, after that happens, Mercury and Jupiter will return that trine again, and Mercury will come into this final square with Pluto. So this is all part of it. This is all part of the excavation process. And hopefully by the time this process is all over, we'll be feeling so much lighter and we'll feel like we've resolved a lot of things, or at least we're clear on what it is that we're working on. So that's a little update on our Mercury retrograde story. And that was your astrology shot of the day. Thank you so much for joining me today. For more astrology in your world, you can connect with me on all platforms at Astro Catherine, or visit me at my website where you can book your next reading. And I look forward to discussing your chart with you in more detail.